That's correct, Wendy. We all wear masks, metaphorically speaking.
Masks have been around forever. You see them everywhere, in films, comics, festival, sports, YouTube, and many, many more. There's something on surface that seems simple, but has history and meaning behind them. In ancient Greek theater, actors wore masks not to hide their identities, but to become something larger, more greater than the embodiment of emotions itself. In Japanese culture, masks are integrated with traditions and allow emotions to show through small, subtle movements. And in tribal rituals, masks allow wearers to channel spirits, closing the veil between the human world and the supernatural divine. So even before stories had pages and put into big screens, masks always embodied the power of transformation. However, a question that I've always had is, who has the right to wear the mask? Is it the hero, hiding their humanity behind a symbol of justice? The villain, unleashing what society forbids? An outcast, or is it really true that
anyone can wear the mask?
There's this old Japanese philosophy that says every person tends to have three faces. The first face is the face you show to the world, the public image you portray, the face people sees. The second face is the one you show to your family and those closest to you. It reflects a more genuine version of who you are beneath the surface. And the third and final face is the face you show to no one, who you are without the world's judgment, the person you become behind closed doors, the purest reflection of your truest identity. This theory is something that always stuck with me, as it's something not only I can relate to in my personal life, but it's something that, in a lot of ways, relates to how masks are used in storytelling today. At its core, both the concept of the three faces and the use of masks in stories ask the same question: where does the performance end and the person begin? The deeper meaning lies in how these layers coexist. So in today's video, I thought why not talk about some of my favorite stories where the mask, both figuratively and literally, have been used to enhance not only the story, but the character itself. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a show that aired on Nickelodeon, spanning for about 3 seasons. It's a show set in a world divided into 4 nations: the Water Tribe, Earth Kingdom, Fire Nation, and Air Nomads. Long ago, the 4 nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed. You guys already know the story of Avatar already. No need for me to go too deep into this. So instead, let's focus on one character, Zuko. Zuko is an interesting character. At first, he's the villain, the exiled prince obsessed with capturing the Avatar to restore his honor. But on episode 13, titled The Blue Spirit, reveals something deeper. A mysterious man appears wearing a blue mask. This character is later on revealed to be Zuko, but the idea behind this figure represents an inner version of the person he wants to be. The mask itself looks a lot like a blue Oni, a demon from Japanese folklore, known for embodying rage, strength, and independence. The mask actually connects back to Zuko's mom. Before she married Ozai, she used to perform in theater and did a play called Love Amongst the Dragon. And in that very same play, you can see she wore the same exact mask. Zuko finds and uses this mask as a way to hide his true identity. When he puts on the mask, he acts against the very ideals of the Fire Nation, even at one point saving Aang instead of imprisoning him. It's a really interesting contradiction. The Blue Spirit isn't a different person. I mean, it's still Zuko, but a version of him that acts freely, unchained from his title, his father, and even his nation. It blurs the line between hero and villain, freedom and duty, self and symbol. When Zuko hides his face, he's actually revealing something deeper. that there's more to him than just a name or the scars that define him. Tying back to the three faces, Zuko's first face is the angry, scared prince, driven by honor and desperate for validation. His second face, shown to his uncle Iroh, is gentler, full of doubt, confusion, and yearning for peace. But the blue spirit represents the third face, the one unbound by names, masks, or expectations. It's the face of his truest self. The version of Zuko that acts instinctively out of compassion. Time and time again, we see how masks are used to reveal a person's true nature. But one interesting way of how it's used is to be a symbol of both hope and identity. Batman and Spider-Man don't just use a mask as a tool for concealment, but an extension of everything that makes them, them. In many iterations, Batman is the real identity and Bruce Wayne is the mask. The cowl lets Bruce shed the expectations of society and reveals his third face. The mask externalizes his trauma and channels it into something larger than himself, a symbol meant to strike fear into criminals while protecting the innocent. Countless stories have explored this same journey, from comics like Batman Year One and Batman the Night, where we watch Bruce discover himself and come up with the Batman persona, to films and video game adaptations, where we see the importance and weight the cowl holds. To some, it's a symbol of fear. To others, it's a symbol of hope, and ultimately, it's one of the most powerful reflections of duality in storytelling. A mask that hides a man, yet reveals a symbol that defines an entire city. For Peter Parker, or in this case, any other Spider-Man who carries the responsibility of wearing the mask, all have an innate desire to protect. The saying, anyone can wear the mask, means that anyone has the potential to rise up, take responsibility, and show courage. That heroism is not limited to one person, but something anyone can embody. Watch any of the Spider-Man movies and you can see exactly this. But a movie that I think captures this the best is the 2018 film titled Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Miles is caught between two worlds. He's a teenager trying to find balance between who others expect him to be and who he truly is. Between his father's hopes for his success and his own desire to be free and creative. This sense of displacement forms the core of his character. Even before he's bitten, throughout the film, a question that's constantly asked is the idea of, who am I supposed to be? Throughout the film, we watch him struggle to balance and come to terms with being Spider-Man. Countless instances in the film when he's needed to step up, he fails. Eventually, leading to a point where all the other Spider-Man sees him as almost as a burden.
You won't. It's a leap of faith. That's all it is, Miles.
All of these problems and issues all accumulate, leading up to one big scene. The leap of faith. Before the leap, Miles visits Aunt May and takes one of Peter's old Spider-Man suits, but instead of wearing it as is, he spray paints it black and red, his two favorite colors, tying back into his creative side and life of when he did graffiti with his uncle. The scene itself takes his time to build. We hear multiple voices of those closest to him,
Leap of faith.
Until he finally jumps off the building. The camera inverts as he falls. The background becomes the sky, and he finally understands what it means to be Spider-Man. When Peter Parker or Miles says anyone can wear the mask, they mean that being Spider-Man isn't limited to one person, one face, or one background. The mask becomes a universal symbol, representing the idea that heroism is not confined to genetics, privilege, or circumstance. The mask represents the space between who we are and who we want to be. Okay. We've talked about heroes and outcasts, but what about the other side of storytelling, where a mask is used on a character who can be considered bad? Century Boys is a sci-fi mystery series written and illustrated by Naoki Urasawa. known for works like Monster, Billy Bat, and Pluto. The story blends childhood memories, mystery, and world-ending danger into a complex narrative about how ordinary people confront extraordinary evil. The story begins with Kenji, a convenience store owner living a quiet life. One day after work, he discovers a mysterious cult that are enacting events similar to stories he and his friends made up when they were kids. Those stories were all written down in something they called the Book of Prophecy. Back then, Kenji and his friends imagined a future where a mysterious villain would destroy the world, using a deadly virus and giant robots. Now, years later, those childhood fantasies are somehow coming true. Someone who knew their childhood dreams and fears is using them to reshape the world. The story is told across multiple years, from the character's childhood to when they're teenagers, all the way to when they become adults. 20th Century Boys doesn't just use masks as a visual motif, but as a symbol, a weapon that shapes both the story and the people in it. At the center of all of it is a mysterious figure known only as Friend. Friend is an enigmatic leader who rose to both political and religious power. He's a character who's referred to as literal God by his followers and looked up upon as this highly figure. His real identity is unknown, but is hidden behind a simple cartoonish mask that was once created by Kenji and his friends. What makes him scary isn't just what he does, it's what he stands for. His powers comes from nostalgia, charm, and pure manipulation. He takes stories about heroes, villains, and saving the world and twists them into a blueprint for destruction. Just as superheroes wear masks to inspire hope, Friend uses his to manufacture faith and fear. So much so that his mask becomes the face of his ideas. We see them on flags, posters, t-shirts, television. The mystery of who's behind the mask drives the entire plot. I don't want to give too much for this series. It's better to go into it blind and
Oh my god, bro.
I'm gonna make a solo video on this soon.
What the fuck, man?
What? What? Arrest me then. Come on.
Die! Why won't you die? Why won't you die?
Beneath this mask, there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.
I feel like it would be entirely wrong if I were to make a video about masks and not include possibly one of the most recognizable ones of all time. V for Vendetta is a 2005 film based on a graphic novel. The film depicts a world ruled by fear, where those in power control people, punish anyone who disagrees, and tries to erase anyone who doesn't fit in. The story follows a young woman named Evie and a mysterious figure known as V. V's mission isn't about toppling a corrupt government. It's about waking people up to the idea of freedom. Throughout the film, we see how he goes about this, destroying government buildings, manipulating events, and exposing the hidden corruption of those in power. At first, his motives were deeply personal and are tied to the horrors he endured at a facility called Lark Hill. As the story progresses, Evie ends up saving him, which in turn leaves him with no choice but to bring her fully into his revolution. As she's drawn deeper into the world, Evie begins to question not just the society she lives in, but who she really is. In V for Vendetta, the mask is more than just a disguise. It stands for ideals and for rebellion. The masked figure in the film transforms from an individual seeking vengeance into a living symbol of resistance. A statement that anyone can stand up, anyone can fight back, anyone can be V with enough courage. It's a film about the struggles between fear and freedom, the endurance of ideas, and how ordinary people can become symbols of change when they stand up to oppression. Masks and storytelling are never just disguises. They're mirrors reflecting the many faces we wear. Across a plethora of mediums, masks are used to explore layers of ourselves. Heroes and villains alike wear them not just to conceal, but to express the parts of their identity they can't show otherwise. Outcasts use them as a way to express their inner self. Behind every mask lies a struggle between who we appear to be, who we wish to be, and who we truly are. There are countless other examples I didn't even touch on, from Lelouch and Kaneki to Toby and Dr. Doom. Then there's horror icons like Jason and Ghostface, or even Darth Vader, Daredevil, and so many more. Each of them uses the mask as a storytelling tool to reveal what lies beneath the surface. The pain, the purpose, the duality of identity. In the end, mask and storytelling become more than a prop. It becomes a question. Which face are we wearing? And when the final mask comes off, we recognize the person underneath.